advisory and financial planning services are offered through Simplicity Wealth LLC and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. SEC registration does not constitute nor endorse of the firm, nor does it indicate that the advisor has attained a particular level of skill nor ability. Investing involves risk of loss. Insurance, consulting, and education services offered through Diamond Life Planning is a separate and unaffiliated entity from Simplicity Wealth. This information is provided as a general information and is not intended to be specific financial guidance. Before you make any decisions regarding your personal financial situation, you should consult a financial or tax professional to discuss your individual circumstances and objectives.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Jost, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jost.
Welcome back to Rock My Finances. Today is our wonderful series called Live Your Diamond Life, Authentic Q&A for Women. This is chapter 3, love and money. I mean, can we get any better than that? We all want love and we all want money. So this is great. After all the decades that I've been meeting with people and chatting with ladies and uplifting them and shifting them to step into their wealth, retire early, feel worthy of wealth, become women who they truly, really want to step into and live the lifestyle they want to. These are some of the questions that I've received over the years. So first one, how early in a relationship should we start talking about money? So a lot of you married gals out there know what you did. And I know a lot of my friends have been married over 30 years. So they didn't have any money when they started talking about money. I had one friend that had just pure debt. And so they figured out how to work up all their debt and pay it off and buy their first house or second house. They're extremely successful now and they've done a really, really good job. But if you're dating someone and you like him, this is almost just as important as to when are we going to have sex, right? When are we going to start talking about money? Money conversations don't have to happen on the first date, obviously, and they shouldn't until you're merging lives kind of together. So early on, it's helpful to observe how someone talks about it. Ladies, do you like the gentleman to pay for you on a first date? Maybe not if you're just going to coffee or cocktails or just a meet and greet, but does he court you? Does he take you out for dinner? Or do you want to pay for half? Do you not want to have any of that? Everyone's different, right? So there's no right way or wrong way, but it needs to be talked about kind of like by the first date because you're going to be buying something. So money comes up really, really early, but do you have to share about your personal finances to someone right away? Absolutely not. As the relationship becomes more serious, then the money conversations become less about numbers and more about values. So I'm a big person of my money speaks for my values. So I'm not just going to go purchase something. I'm going to purchase something that of either a designer I like, and I'm not real big into labels, but like my daughter said, you should get a really good purse. And I'm like, well, I'm not just going to get a purse to get a purse. I want to know who's making the purse and who can I put my value behind, right? Like I love to, like my coaches, when I purchase a coach, all coaches need coaches, right? Or therapists or coaches, we all need it. So I love that when I make a payment to that, I know it's going to their household and taking care of their family and making their dreams come true. Just as if my clients, like I was sitting in the conference room one day and my daughter had just turned 21 and her name's Journey. I wanted to take her to the Journey show. And it was like a 2 or 3 day show, LA Dodger Stadium. It's like $250 a ticket or whatever. I wanted to go buy her ticket. My son wanted to go. Then we'd have to stay in the hotel. We'd have to get down there. So it was an expensive little, hey, I think I want to do this, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it. This is going to be a little family thing. We all love music. It was 7 bands. It was amazing. So then I went into my appointment and I got a coaching client immediately from that. And they paid for that whole trip. So it was wonderful. And they knew that they paid for it. I told them, this is what you're going towards. So thank you so much. We're going to take care of you and get you clarity, confidence, and control over your money so that you can step into the wealth and then share. So our money needs to be shared as a value as well. And if that's important to you, then you would share that type of thing on a first date or even on a second date. You know, this is my value. This is part of my value, honesty, ethical, Some people can live in a very small place. They have no value on extras, more minimalist. That's different than someone else that might want, like, I just bought a new Genesis. I love my Genesis. It is a used car, which is my value, right? I don't like the brand new ones driving right off the lot unless they got a spectacular deal. Then I'm down for it. I love deals. I'm frugal and I love deals. So that might come out on a first or a second date. I love to get a bargain. A money coach can help people explore the emotional side of their values, while a financial advisor helps translate them into practical decisions in the future. So these are the things you can talk about. Like, do they have a financial advisor? You might, like, kind of not really dancing around it, but you don't have to get into the particulars. Do you have a financial plan? Do you know when you're going to be able to retire? Are you retired? Little things like that is going to give you a lot of value and a lot of information at first. So you don't have to dive straight into your finances. I often tell my single clients, I'm happy to chat with your new beau, your new friend, however it is. I'm happy to talk with them a little bit about where they're at and what's happening, a little bit about where you're at and what's happening. Bring me in on the conversation. Let's go have dinner. Let's go talk about it. Because sometimes it's a hard conversation to have, which is no problem. But it doesn't need to be right away. It doesn't need to be until you're actually merging your life together and that they're a serious person. I hope that makes sense. Number 2 question. Why does money affect relationships so deeply? So money is rarely just about dollars. Like, it really never is. There's always about the emotion underneath it, right? So it actually represents our security, our freedom, our trust, and sometimes even love. If you grew up to where your household showed you love with money, then you're going to have those same tendencies. When two people come together, they bring their own money stories from their childhood and their past relationships. I'm 62, so at my age, people have been divorced. They've been through the mill of a divorce. They might not trust any marriage again, combining finances or anything like that. I have couples now that have been married for 15, 20 years and their finances are still separate. Not, however makes you feel safe. And of course, as my coaching life, I help them uncover what's not making them feel safe so that we can uncover those old stories, get those old beliefs out so that we can have them forgive themselves, forgive whatever needs to be forgiven so that they can step into their new relationship the way they want to do it. However, we all have different kids now, right? I've got my family of kids. They've got their family of kids. So we might want to just keep our finances separate, which is absolutely fine. I always recommend a household account of the household that you live in. Everybody contributes to that household account. It pays for the food. It could even pay for vacations, dining out, concerts, all the fun stuff that you're going to do. That's the household of the relationship account. Then you have your account. I have my account. We might even have our own financial advisors, which is totally perfectly fine. Number 3 question. What are the signs that someone has a healthy relationship with money? Well, a healthy relationship with money usually shows up as an openness. It shows up as giving. It shows up as responsibility. And it shows up as a balance, right? So they're not just doing everything for you, but they might say, hey, I'll do tonight's dinner and excursion, and you can do the next date, especially in the newly dating, right? So then you might say, hey, I got concert tickets. So I'm going to take us to a concert and a nice dinner, or I'll take us to the concert and you do the nice dinner. I believe money is energy, right? So there's got to be a balance. Even with my friends, like if they have something, I have a friend that I get frequencies from. I pay for those frequencies. It's an energy exchange. She's doing her specialty and I'm paying for that. So I do believe there needs to be an exchange. You can't be one person doing everything for that relationship. Now, some people might not be in the position to be paying for all these wonderful dates, right? So there can be a give and take to where I'm going to invite you over and have you cook dinner for you and have a nice evening. And then if you want to, you can take us out to dinner. Maybe they might want, like my last one, they always wanted to go out to dinner. That's great. I like a home cooked meal as well, especially on this crazy diet that I got going. It's always different. No gluten, no dairy, no meat. This is no meat March. Okay, yay. So there's always something going on. So I'd rather cook myself because I know what's going into the food and what's going into my body. So then we can give or take that way. So you will see someone being let me see. You'll see them treating others well, even though tipping well. Sometimes my kids run a restaurant business, so we tip well. And it depends on how they talk about money. Do they talk about it as a victim? Do they talk about it with shame? Do they talk about it with anger? Do they get mad? Are they sharing stories with you all the time about being angry, about getting taken advantage of? Or is it just more balanced of, hey, it's more of a positive situation? And do they demonstrate emotional maturity around finances? Do they get emotional about it? Or is it just kind of one more thing in our repertoire of our life, right? They may not have perfect finances, but they're willing to be honest and proactive about it. I love that. Honesty is huge, absolutely huge. So you can feel it. You'll be able to feel it because what we feel about one thing is how we feel about everything. So this is very important when we're dating. Number 4, should we pay attention to how someone spends money while dating? Ooh, that's a great question. So yes, absolutely. Spending patterns can reveal priorities and values. The goal isn't to judge someone's lifestyle, but to understand whether your financial habits and your values align with theirs. These conversations help couples understand each other's approach to money before it even becomes a point of conflict. So definitely being aware. You might see their house, you might see their car. I know someone who didn't buy a car for like 25 years because it just wasn't an important value to them. And that's great. You just want to know who they are. Some people want people to show up in labels, in fine clothing. Some people want them to show up in a nice car. Some people don't want any money spent on things like that, and they'd rather have it on massages and vacations and organic food, and maybe a chef come in to cook for everyone so that you can have a nice dinner with maybe your friends and family to get to know each other. Everyone's a little bit different, and all you're doing while you're dating is checking them out. Do you want the next date? That's it. We're not judging them. We're not judging ourselves. We're not going to put ourselves down. We're literally just saying, hey, do I like you enough to spend more time with you? And if I do, all right, let's do another date. Question number 5, what if a partner has different financial styles, like a saver and a spender? Great question. It happens all the time, right? Different financial personalities can actually balance each other out if both people are willing to communicate and to respect the other person's perspective. And this is on everything in a relationship, not just money. A financial advisor can also help create structure that works for both partners, while a money coach can also help couples understand their emotions that's driving those habits. So I can't tell you how many times I have couples come to me on the verge of divorce, like they're ready to go see the attorney, and I have turned them around. I think there's one client right now that we're in talks with attorneys, and then I'm a certified divorce financial analyst, so that's what I did. I helped them split all their assets, child custody. I did everything. It took about a year for us to do that, and to make sure that they're both feeling really good, because I am the child's advocate. And if the parents can't get along, that child's never going to feel secure. In fact, I just did a podcast with Bev Middleman, and it was about secure love attachment styles. So check out that podcast. It's awesome. Securely Loved is what she created. And that, in a divorce and the parents not feeling secure, they're going to pass that on to the child. So I always try to make sure that the partners are cohesively working together. Maybe not in the beginning, but towards the end, we always do come to an alignment on the plan and where we're going forward, so that they can take that to the attorney and spend a lot less money with the attorney and already have their custody worked out, have their financial assessments, on both sides, and who's going to get what and how we're going to get it. All of that is worked out before we even go to an attorney. That's great. But if you're just contemplating and you're just fighting and arguing at each other's throats, I'm a money coach, any money coach, but of course, helps out tremendously, because I can find out, going back to the attachment styles of childhood, where this is really coming from, right? It's not coming from here. It's coming from our childhood, and we can clear those out. So I work with you both together in the beginning, and then I separate, and then I work with both partners separately. They all have their homework. Everybody has homework with me, no matter what. We all have homework, right? So your homework is always to go back and write your history of your money story from childhood on. What is your money story? How do you feel about money? What would you say to money if you walked in, it walked into the door right now? If it walked into the door right now, what would you say to money? Write that down. Write a love letter to money. There's so much great practical things that we can do to get all these habits out of our head and to step into new beliefs and to new great habits around money so that it shows up in our love life, right? We have to be able to love and respect ourselves and trust ourselves, as I learned from Bev. We have to trust ourselves to make the right decision. Otherwise, we're not going to pick the right partner for us. My picker's been broken for years, I'm telling you. And I'm sure there's lots of us that can say that out there. And that's because we weren't really loving and trusting ourselves on our own decisions. So I love that. So being a saver and a spender, you can absolutely work together if you have to understand each other's perspectives. So I had a client once that she was just rebelling against her husband. They've been married 25 years, like long time. And every time he would say no, she would go spend a different money. It wasn't a lot of money. It was just a little bit of money, but it added up and it would just make him so aggravated. He felt completely disrespected and she felt completely controlled. When actuality, when we went and dug down to it, she actually felt like he was her dad because they set that up in the relationship a long time ago before I came in on the picture, right? So we cleared that up and said, this is not your dad saying you can't do this. This is your loving husband who loves you as your partner, wants to retire with you and go and play and have fun. And the more you spend, the further that retirement date is out. It's just drawn out longer and he has to work longer. You have to work longer. And she didn't really understand that that's where he was coming from. All she felt was control from her father. So she healed that. She paid off all her credit cards, paid off her debt. They're now retired, traveling everywhere, having a really good time. They're each other's best friends. They're laughing, smiling, giggling every day. It's the cutest thing to see. And it's just because she came to me and asked, how can I get my husband to stop getting so mad about the money that I'm spending? And it took a while to do some different processes, right? But every step, each person's going to be happy. I spoke to him, I spoke to her. We made sure that both people were understanding their perspective. And we don't even understand it if we're not going to the subconscious, right? So we have to do that. We have to look at what's underneath. It's never about what we think it is. Never. Every time you think of a topic and you think you're mad about that topic, 100% of the time, it's never about that topic. It's always about what's underneath that topic. And it could be 5 layers deep, but it's definitely underneath that topic. It's not about that. So one of my core wounds is perfectionism. I feel not worthy, not good enough. And so I really value authenticity and someone being honest to me, because if I feel like their integrity is whacked out and they say something different than they do, I'm out because I can't trust that. I have to be able to trust someone from my childhood and my upbringing. So if you say you're going to spend money on this or not spend money on this, that needs to happen. And if it doesn't, I can't be in that relationship because I'm going to say and do what I'm going to say and do. And you're going to know that and you're going to feel that. I want you to feel completely trust around me. And that's why I'm such a great financial advisor as well, because I'm 100% honest and they know what I say is absolutely honest and they can trust that. Trust is huge, right? Trust is huge. Sometimes we have to forgive in order to trust. Guess who we have to forgive first? Yep, we have to forgive ourselves. Yep, we put ourselves on that hot seat. We have to be able to forgive ourselves for our past discretions, our past activities, our past partners, our past expenditures, and then we can be able to trust ourselves. Okay, number 6, how can women protect themselves financially in a relationship? Oh, ding, 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 ding. I love this question. Financial protection often begins with financial awareness. So we have to know what's happening first. We have to understand our own finances. And that means knowing and loving our own numbers, maintaining some financial independence. Even when we get into a relationship, we still keep our own accounts. We still have our own savings. We still have our own control over our money in certain circumstances. And staying informed about the shared decisions are important, right? As a couple or as a partnership, when someone wants to buy something, I have lots of different rules. I have someone that says we do not spend over $500 without talking about it to the other person. Another household might be $5,000 without talking to the other person. Then I have households that say, I have my budget, you have your budget, I have my fund money, you have your fund money, you do whatever the heck you want. And we have our money together in our own finances and our own accounts. And that is the money that we always agree on, no matter what is spent 100% of the time. There's lots of different ways that we can do it. And we can also find structure with an advisor in that middle bucket for the financial plan for the couple, right? And then each individual person might have their own plans and their own goals. And they want to make sure that they have enough money to be able to control what they want and their individual futures. Like I know that there's a couple that he always wants to give her gifts. Her love language is receiving gifts. And so he always wants to make sure he has enough in his thing for giving gifts. I have another one that is a cyclist. Those bikes are very expensive. And so that's his hobby. He wants to make sure he has enough that does not affect the family, but that is his fun money. He has his money to go do what he wants to do without having to check with his wife every time he wants to go buy a new bike or new padding or new outfits or new whatever they want to do, right? So conversation absolutely is hugely important with finances and everything in regards to a relationship. And keeping some type of independence. Okay, number 7 question. What are some red flags to watch for while dating? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so now we not only have red flags, but we have pink flags, right? We have yellow flags, we have green flags, all the way go. And so which ones are these? So it might include scarcity about finances. It might include blaming others for financial problems. If someone's complaining about their divorce, and they're complaining about their partner and they're complaining about all the money they took and all the money that they could have had without it, that's a kind of a red flag, right? They haven't gone through that and taken care of their emotional state around that and basically healed it. Or they can be a complete financial control. Now, you're not going to know that while you're dating. You could pick up on some cues possibly, but I have a lot of clients come to me after financial abuse, meaning once they got married, they never had any more control over any of their own accounts. They never had any more of their own money. They would get doled out a certain amount of money and that's it. And they had to do the whole household on that, all the groceries, housekeeper, all the bills, cable, internet, water, electricity, everything they had to do. And if they didn't have anything left over, then they didn't have anything left over. It reminds me of Lucy and Ricky Ricardo. That's what happened to her. She had a certain amount of money that she had to have through the household. So she would go try to make candy to get extra money or the vitamin or Vegemin, right? I know you're all laughing with me if you've seen this because it's hilarious. And she wanted to get extra money somehow. So she had to go get her part-time jobs to do that. There are still couples today that do that. That can be very emotionally tricky, right? And if you were to, this is what I always sit couples down. If there's one working, one not, usually it's the mom home with the child, right? Could be the dad, but the person that's home is the housemaker. How much would you pay for a housekeeper? How much would you pay for someone to do the laundry? How much would you pay for someone to do your shopping for you? How much would you pay for someone to do your cooking for you? And how much is daycare? Okay, well, that is the job that the house person is doing at home. You need to respect that as that job, and they need to respect themselves as well. So they need to have their own fun money, even if they're not working. That is a job, and that is a family decision that you're doing together. So that is great questions to ask, right? Now, with dating, you want to just see another warning sign is avoiding conversations at all costs around money. If they're not even going to talk about money whatsoever. Now, first date, second date, third date, no, maybe not even a month or two in. But when you start combining things, there should be some type of money talks. Healthy relationships allow room for honest discussions about financial realities. I mean, love or money, sex, what comes first? If you're going to go have sex, you need to be able to talk about sex. You're spending money on the first date, so you need to be able to talk about it in which way that fits well with you, if that makes sense. Now, we also get the braggadocious guys, right? I've got this and this and this, and, I'd like to buy you an island, and, you'd look great in a convertible and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like real lessons that we've learned maybe around money, maybe what we want to do in our future, what our future plans are, travel, what kind of travel. Are you a five-star travel, or are you a hostel traveler? What do you like? These are great questions that you're going to find out in the beginning in the dating cycle to see how they are. A debt question. Do you carry debt? Do you like debt? Is there, a lot of us are parents by now. How do we teach children around debt? And what is debt, right? We like Robert Kiyosaki, right? We talk about debt completely different than a lot of other people when we're entrepreneurs versus employees. Very different. I hope I have given you a lot of things to think about. I hope I've answered some of your questions that I've gotten throughout all the years. Please check out more of this Live Your Diamond Life Q&A session. We've had chapter 1, chapter 2 now. I'm going to keep going each week. We're going to have a different chapter, and hopefully I'm answering a lot of questions for you. And I want all of you to be able to stand up and say, hey, I rock my finances.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zero, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.